You're tuned in to the only all-sports talk network in the Middle East, IsraelSportsRadio.com. Broadcasting live from Israel, IsraelSportsRadio.com. Broadcasting live from Jerusalem, IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Can't clone me. Your girlfriend, she roll me. She see me and she own me. But it's all for one and it's one for all. So I pass her to my homies. And I'm back on top again. But I'm back up out my way. I need 50 mil a week. A new whip every day.
Welcome to the Wrestling Breakdown Show. It's a boiling hot Sunday afternoon here in Jerusalem, Israel.
Oh, it's not. What are you talking about?
Hot?
No.
I'm feeling boiling hot. I don't know about you, man. But we're on the eve of WWE Payback, a new pay-per-view in and of itself. I guess, what used to be the pay-per-view that came before? I don't think I even remember the pay-per-view that came before, after Extreme Rules. I have to look that up. That's something I should have prepared. But, yeah.
I'm very surprised you don't know that.
We have it's a very heavy card.
I like the name. You like the name of the pay-per-view?
Over the Limit was yeah, because you know why last time it was they made Over the Limit, so it seemed sort of submission, pointed at a submission type of match, or some sort of multi-man matches or something. It was never really clear what it was about, but sometimes you don't need a pay-per-view to be about something, about a certain gimmick. Sometimes you just have a pay-per-view and throw a bunch of matches on there, be it with a stipulation or without a stipulation.
Is this pay-per-view about a certain gimmick? Why is it called Payback? I think the name itself sounds a little bit TNA-ish.
I don't.
Why is it called Payback?
I think it's more Attitude Era-ish, where they just used to make names of pay-per-views out of nowhere.
Right. The whole names are superfluous. They could just say pay-per-view, and you get a lot of buys.
Yeah. But we're on the Wrestling Breakdown Show again. You could follow us on Twitter at Wrestling Break or myself at Yos the Bus on Twitter.
And you can't find me anywhere anymore.
No, we cannot. You are off the grid.
Yeah. It's crazy. Last time I was here, I was on Facebook and on Twitter. I had over 4,000 followers on Twitter just a couple weeks ago, and then that's gone.
I think you passed Jerry the King Lawler.
Did I?
Oh, wait, no. I think he had that pity follow after he had that heart attack. Let's forget about that.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to play heart attack to get followers.
You know what? They joke about it on the show all the time on Monday Night Raw.
What, his heart attack?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that he was eating one of those hearty burgers with a lot of bacon and cheese and all that.
Yeah, the guy that just had a heart attack is eating fast food and promoting it on WWE television.
Yeah.
And also, I think he was joking when the Divas came out about his heart attack. I don't know. I think they take things in too much of a light manner, and like the whole thing with the concussion. They were very careful with Triple H to make it serious and a big deal. And then at the pay-per-view at Extreme Rules, Randy Orton goes and punts the Big Show's head to end the match. So I mean, they go two different ways sometimes on these issues.
I mean, I think you have to joke around about a heart attack. What else can you do? If you take it seriously, you're going to have another heart attack. You just got to relax and laugh at it. Especially that's the way the WWE works. They laugh at everything. They make fun of themselves all the time.
Yeah, well, we got an interesting card here for Payback. We have the pre-show match, which is, it's been building up for a while. I think we've seen Damien Sandow and Sheamus in the past year face off something like 14 times. They just had like a string of matches where they just kept going at it. Nothing happened as a result. Because sort of there was a little mini feud between Sheamus and Randy Orton against the Rhodes Scholars. But I'm very excited for this match, specifically because Damien Sandow is an up-and-coming star, and I see huge things for him in the future. And I would hope that he could win this match against Sheamus and, look forward to bigger and brighter things.
That's a very big emotion for Sheamus to be on the pre-show. I mean, he was basically highlighting a lot of the pay-per-views, and now he's doing the pre-show. So either he's going down, or he wants to help build Damien Sandow.
Well, I guess they sort of had the card set, and when they looked at it, they didn't have anywhere to put Sheamus versus Damien Sandow.
And Triple H flipped out.
Yeah, and his two best buds over there, he had to put them on the card somewhere, so he gave them the pre-show match. But you know what? There in the past, the discussion has been brought that they should put a title on the pre-show to show that the pre-show is more important. You know, that it's not just a throwaway. And the thing I see from it is that it doesn't have to be a title match. I've seen recently this match, I think last pay-per-view, The Miz faced off against Cody Rhodes, if I'm not mistaken, on the pre-show.
That sounds right.
I'll check that out in 1 second here. But they were great matchups. Like I can watch The Miz and Cody. They're young, they're hungry, and I could see them go at it for a long time. Unfortunately, they didn't give them such a long match, but it was definitely great to see. The Miz just has a huge variety of moves. Whether you like him or not, he goes out there and he gives it his all.
I don't know. I can't remember the last time I actually watched the match from The Miz.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have that many matches that often. He's on and off here and there.
Well, why is he on and off? Is he busy making movies?
He's making movies. He does a lot of promotion for the company, and I mean that's it. You know, he does a lot of promotion for the company, and that's one of the reasons he's not around as often.
I want to go back to something you just mentioned. You said that it would be good if they did like a tag team championship or some kind of a championship for the pre-show.
Yes,
but don't you think that they would lose a lot of buyers for the pay-per-view because already they have a big match that they've seen? So why should they get the pay-per-view? I don't see why it would work.
Well, I'm going to point out a poll that I just saw on 411mania.com. Which is the match you're most looking forward to? And we have here the top match is CM Punk versus Chris Jericho, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to buy the pay-per-view or watch the pay-per-view because of that match.
I would also, if I had to watch the pay-per-view, which maybe I will, it would be because of that match.
Then we have I don't know how this got up here on number 2, but Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton. It's definitely an exciting tag team match, but I mean that goes to show your point. If you put the tag team championship match before the pay-per-view, then why would people be more interested in going and seeing the pay-per-view itself?
Right. Looking at the poll, I know that people listening can look at the poll, but if you put that match for the pre-show, that is only one match that the people would be interested in for the whole pay-per-view. No, I assume I have that also Cena and Ryback is another reason that people are ordering the pay-per-view. But you take a big reason for getting the pay-per-view if you take away the tag team championships.
Surprisingly, Caitlyn versus AJ and Cena versus Ryback as of now are tied.
Wow.
For the third most want to see match on this poll. But I have to say, in order of the matches that I want to see, Jericho versus Punk is first. Cena versus Ryback would probably be third. Ziggler Del Rio would be second because I want to see Ziggler wrestle. I haven't seen him wrestle in a month or so, and Ziggler's matches always steal the show. They're the best match on the card, but I have to say the same thing about Chris Jericho and CM Punk.
And you have to say also the same thing about Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah, I mean
his matches are always exciting.
That's definitely true.
And he surprisingly he wins a lot of his matches clean.
But I'd have to say that match is the junior to Punk versus Jericho because
junior.
I'm saying because Punk and Jericho are like the next level after Ziggler Del Rio. They're the match that everyone wants to see and that you could sit and actually watch for like 35 minutes, 40 minutes straight.
Oh, and the pay-per-view is going to be in Chicago, right?
Yes.
Oh, so the crowd's going to go crazy. That in itself is a reason to watch it. I want to watch the reaction when CM Punk enters.
I'm very excited to.
I think I'm going to watch it. What time is it here, the pay-per-view? 1, 2 in the morning?
I don't know if it's airing live in Israel, actually. It'd be an interesting thing to check out.
It's going to air live. Don't worry about it. That I know.
It's definitely an interesting thing to check out, and if I figure that out, I'll let you all know. But yeah, I mean, this pay-per-view, there are so many matches, and I think the reason, and one of the reasons you can thank the WWE for this, we always talk down the WWE, how they make bad booking decisions, but the Shield. We have 2 Shield matches here, and...
What's your opinion on the Shield? We haven't done a show in a long time, and the Shield, they're surprisingly, like, the people are behind them. They get a big reaction. What do you think about them?
I think at first, automatically, people were very excited about the Shield because they thought they were associated with CM Punk. And anything CM Punk touches turns awesome. You know, like it lights up and everybody wants to see it. And I think that was one of the original reasons people were so excited. But the fact is, these are 3 guys that can speak on the mic that are unique. And you could draw similarities to wrestlers of the past or the present, but they're unique to the modern day, and they stand out, and they're good in the ring. You know, it's not like they brought up 3 guys. They took 3 guys, they had them in the minors, they trained them, they worked them up, they brought them up together, and they're all that good, solo and as a tag team.
You really think they're so good? Because I question if they're so good. Rather, the WWE is booking them to win all the time. So is it really that they're so good, or because the WWE books them to win all the time, that makes them good?
Well, I'm happy you said that. I'm not saying good as in they keep winning. I'm saying good as in they can carry people in matches. They could keep matches entertaining. Team Hell No, we thought it was going to get boring. They made the Team Hell No matches even better because they were involved in them. Dean Ambrose has one of the most unique arsenals of moves that I've seen in a while, and his whole sort of Joker persona that people compare him to is just beyond entertaining. And the one thing I have to say about the Shield above all else, the fact that when each of them goes down to the ring for their titles matches, they do it on their own now. They don't do what they did at the beginning to win their matches by having interferences. They go down to the ring, they fight their own battles, whether it's Rollins and Reigns with the tag titles or Ambrose with the United States Championship.
But that doesn't mean they're going to separate them, does it?
I don't think so, and I actually wouldn't be surprised if they added a member to the Shield.
Really? I think already 3 is enough. Sometimes you just need 2 people. That's why now for the pay-per-view you have 2 matches. You have 2-on-2 for the tag team title, and then you have the other title. Well,
I think it's hard to say. I think if they had a world champion in their pocket, if the Shield were to start getting raw and start getting boring and had nothing going for them, because let's say they hold the titles for, let's say, the next 400, 500 days, right?
The Shield?
Yeah, let's just say.
Okay.
They might get stale, and having an extra, let's say, veteran in there, maybe like a Randy Orton or a CM Punk as the world champion to lead the group, would make it more interesting. Because up till now, the Shield, they're all equals. And it would create, I don't know, maybe pick a superstar that Roman Reigns or Rollins or Ambrose looks up to, and as a result, it would cause friction within the group and would cause them to turn on each other.
Yeah, I don't see that happening right now. You know who they remind me of? The Hart Foundation. Remember the Hart Foundation when they had all the titles? I mean, I'm going a little bit back now, but when they had all the they had all the titles, they had like the heavyweight title and the tag team titles, and also Davey Boy Smith had also a title.
Yeah,
like the Hart Foundation had all the titles, so now the Shield also has 3 titles.
They had that with not so long ago in Evolution. They had all the titles. They had the tag team titles, I believe, the Intercontinental Championship, and the World Heavyweight Championship. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting that they chose 3, where a lot of groups have had 4 members or even 5 members, but this group, they chose to have 3 members. In the modern WWE, there's so many championships that there's no way for one group to have all of them.
Right. So who are you? Who's gonna win here?
Which match do you want to
Shield,
talk about?
The Shield. Let's start off with the Shield, yeah, because we spent about 10 minutes talking about the Shield, which I like the Shield, but not that much.
Well, we have Dean Ambrose versus Kane, and generally, if Kane was in a match, I would not have his opponent be the victor, because Kane is a big guy, he's a scary guy, and recent events have caused us to see him in a new light in which he is a monster. You know, he is back as a monster. He can go out there and play the big man role, whereas in the past he used his agility and rest holds a lot more. But Dean Ambrose has this unique style that I think it's very hard for people to combat. It's going to be a while before people get used to it, and I see Dean Ambrose coming out on top in this match just because of his unpredictability.
Right, yeah, I agree with you on this one.
As for the other Shield match, we have Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton, who do not get along. They are both crazy in their own right.
I'm wondering where the WWE is heading here, because they broke up Kane and Daniel Bryan for the pay-per-view. And it seems like in the future, this is the new tag team, Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan. So Kane is going solo again.
Talk about a demotion. You got Sheamus on the pre-show, and you got Randy Orton fighting for the tag team championships.
Right.
But I think this won't last. I think Daniel Bryan and Kane will reconcile. We heard at the end of SmackDown a few weeks ago, not at the end, but in SmackDown, Kane was interviewed backstage, and he said, me and Daniel will always be, friends. We'll always be able to tag together. So I don't know if this is really the end of Team Hell No. I think they're just maybe trying something different to screw around with him. Vicky Guerrero put this match in just to give us an interesting combination to go against the Shield, because we saw how hot Daniel Bryan was these past few weeks on SmackDown up against the Shield. And if Daniel Bryan could stay hot and Orton's at his... we've had triple teams that have faced the Shield, but this is an interesting team, and I think with Daniel Bryan being on fire and Randy Orton being Randy Orton, this could definitely be a good matchup. But again, the Shield have won the titles only recently, and I don't see them losing them anytime soon.
Yeah, I see here that either you have the Shield and Dean Ambrose, either they all win their matches, or you have Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton and Kane win their matches. It wouldn't make sense to me that only the Shield wins the titles and that Kane wins the United States Championship. Either the Shield wins all the titles, or they lose all the titles.
I think when it comes down to...
I think exactly like you said, they're brand new. They just won the titles. They're not going to lose them this quick.
I think when it comes down to it and the Shield were to lose their championships, their various championships, it would probably be towards the end of the Shield as a group, because then that would cause jealousy among the different members, that some of them would have championships and some of them wouldn't. Or, on the other hand, you could have a guy like Dean Ambrose go up to the main event scene and fight for a world championship or something similar to that. And that's the only way I could see any of the members of the Shield losing their current championship gold.
Right, and that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Well, I mean, they're very comfortable. They're very exciting. There doesn't seem any reason for the WWE to take the gold off of either of them. And they're so... I mean, you have other championships that you can deal with. So, and worst comes to worst, the WWE can take another championship out of the coffin and bring it back, the European Championship or some other championship that no one's going to care about. At least now we have championships that are held by legitimate superstars that we believe that they're the champions because they actually win their matches and we see them look strong in defending them.
Right. I don't see Dean Ambrose right now at the caliber of, let's say, Dolph Ziggler or Alberto Del Rio, but definitely at the caliber of The Miz. At The Miz or Curtis Axel or Wade Barrett.
I don't know. We talk about Wade Barrett. He was the leader of one of the most one of the most dominant groups of the modern era.
Right, the Nexus.
And what they did there, they just took everyone out. It was pretty crazy stuff. You take a guy like Curtis Axel, he's 8-0.
Yeah, but who's left from the Nexus? You can't say that Nexus ended up being so great. Besides Wade Barrett, who's left from the Nexus?
You have Heath Slater.
Yeah, so he's not so great.
Ryback. You got Curtis Axel was in the Nexus, the original before he was Curtis Axel.
So, yeah.
The only people in the WWE that were on the Nexus that are no longer are, I believe, Michael Tarver, and I think that's it. Michael Tarver.
You have what's his face, the guy with the thing in his hair.
You have Darren Young, the primetime player.
Yeah, Darren Young.
Darren Young was part of the Nexus. You have Wade Barrett. Daniel Bryan was part of the Nexus for a week. You have
John Cena.
John Cena was part of the Nexus for a short while. I mean, you had Heath Slater, Justin Gabriel. Ryback was originally part of the Nexus, but I guess you can't really put them under the Nexus because they're not really in the persona that they were when the Nexus existed.
Right. So it's like 50-50. Some became successful and some not so much.
But I think the member, as far as the Nexus goes, I guess you would say Daniel Bryan was the most successful.
From the Nexus?
Yeah. From the real members of the Nexus. Followed by
Wade Barrett.
But Wade Barrett only because of his dominance. He's won 2 Intercontinental Championships, but if you look at the history of the Nexus and the people that won the titles, you have multiple-time tag team champions on that. You have Heath Slater was a tag champion, Justin Gabriel, Curtis Axel, and if you don't remember, CM Punk was the new Nexus. He was the head of the new Nexus.
Right, for a very short time.
I mean, I don't think it's really something to go into because as the Nexus was really dominant as a group, not so much when they were broken apart into singles wrestlers.
So you're saying that the Shield is different. You're saying that the Shield is dominant as individuals also.
Well, the Shield's whole point was to get Wade Barrett the championship, more or less, whereas the Shield is a bunch of equals fighting for justice.
I like the Shield. What excites me about the Shield is when they come together. When somebody's in the ring, let's say a John Cena or a Vince McMahon, or it doesn't matter who, and then they come, you hear their music, and then they come to the ring. That's what excites me, when they come as a group.
Well, when they took out The Undertaker, I was shocked that there was no one came in to defend. They just ripped him apart, and no one stopped it. And that was amazing in my eyes, that a guy like The Undertaker just stood there, and they just were able to dismantle The Undertaker. I've seen The Undertaker take chair shot after chair shot and just get up, and they just destroyed him.
Yeah, but Undertaker's an old man now.
It doesn't matter. We said he got up from all those finishers from CM Punk at WrestleMania. He still can go, and the fact that
he can go. He looked very good. Also, he looked better than previous years.
He looked better now than I've seen him in a while, which surprises me why they took him off of TV so soon.
What was it, like last WrestleMania? Not the one that just passed, the one before, or maybe the one before. He looked terrible. He looked old. He looked slow.
Right after he shaved his head.
Yeah, this last WrestleMania, he looked very good.
Yeah, I hope he stays for more WrestleManias to come, because him at even 75% is better than some wrestlers at 100%.
Right.
So, I mean, we take a look at the rest of this card here. Sheamus versus Sandow. It's probably going to end up being Sheamus defeating him, but I really want to see Sandow pull out the win, whether by shenanigans or whatever, interference by Cody Rhodes. I really don't care. I just don't want Sheamus walking out. I have accepted, since we did the show last time, I have accepted that Sheamus is a main eventer. There's nothing I can do about it. But I have been watching this feud from the beginning till now, and their match tonight at WWE Payback, and he really just looks like an idiot, Sheamus. Damian Sandow presents him with mental challenges, and Sheamus's answer for every one of these mental challenges is the bro kick.
Right. Everyone knows Sheamus is not very bright.
I know, but it doesn't look good for him. This is a guy who is supposed to be the future face of the company, and he's not looking very good. You know, it seems like the whole point of a lot of these wrestlers, take it The Rock or Triple H or Stone Cold or guys that were the faces of the company, the major main eventers, is that they had some sort of brains, you know? They thought they were able to think and outsmart people sometimes, or if not outsmart them, outtalk them. Sheamus is not the greatest guy on the mic. So I would hope he might actually be a stand-up guy and take part in these mental challenges and not look like such a doofus.
Sheamus is not the greatest guy on the mic, but surprisingly, he's a little bit better than I thought he would ever be. He must have gotten some training at some point to speak on the mic, so he's decent. But the pre-show, I think, is going to be just a joke. It's going to be because Damien Sandow, he's sort of like Santino, so it's going to be joking back and forth. And Damien Sandow's going to put down Sheamus, and Sheamus is going to put down Sandow, and that's all it's going to be. It's going to be like haha for a couple minutes, and it's going to be a very short match, and it's over. Sheamus is going to win.
I think they were expecting Sheamus to be like a future sort of even John Cena, someone like that would be at the top of the company, someone that would be a major face, and I just see him, no disrespect to Mark Henry, but being similar to Mark Henry in that he's a big buff guy that does things with force but doesn't really think twice about it.
You can't compare him to Mark Henry. Come on. Mark Henry's a sexual chocolate. Sheamus is never going to be the sexual vanilla.
So, yeah, but that's exactly why. Mark Henry is sexual chocolate and Sheamus is the human jar of mayonnaise.
Right.
Because he's bland.
And I'm very excited that Mark Henry's coming back this Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be some good stuff.
How come he was out? He was hurt this whole time? He gets hurt quite often, doesn't he?
It's not really clear why he was out. I think he was just... I don't know. They made it seem like he couldn't beat Sheamus, so he was just pissed off, and he just left. But I don't know if it was based on injury or not.
I love watching Mark Henry. He's always so angry.
I didn't like the way they did. I didn't like that match, the way it was. I wanted to see. I want to see Mark Henry in like a guitar match where he just takes one guitar and smashes him, and then smashes him again and again and again. I wanted the strap match to just be like a whipping match, to pull out a belt, just whip the crap out of Sheamus, and that would look great on TV because Sheamus is like neon white, so you'd see all those hits from the belt. It would look great. I mean, circa 1998, Hulk Hogan with the belt.
Your opinion hasn't changed yet on Sheamus, right?
No,
you still hate him.
I dislike him, but I'm willing to admit that he is a main eventer and he will be there to stay, and there's nothing I can do about it. I think Sheamus will win this match, but I'm not going to be happy about it.
Right, he's going to win the match. It's going to last about 3 minutes. We'll time it. 2 or 3 minutes, very short.
It used to be, I used to watch a Sheamus match. I used to fast forward till the end, till the finish. And then I used to be angry because a guy could work him over a whole match, and then Sheamus would get the easy win at the end. And I was very angry about it. But now I can sit through the match because he's very good at, when he's with someone that's interesting and good at working a match like Damien Sandow, I could sit and watch it because it's not just a Sheamus dominance, it's a storytelling sort of.
He's okay to watch. Sheamus is not so bad to watch. I have no problem watching him. He's just a little bit bland, a little bit boring. But the wrestling itself is not so bad. I like his bro kick. Sheamus is like sort of like Randy Orton. He could win out of just like that in a second. He can turn around and win the match, just like Randy Orton could be losing the whole match and then, bam, he gets the RKO and he wins. That's how Sheamus works also.
Well, we've already talked about the Shield matches and the pre-show. Before we get to the 3 major main events, we have Ziggler, Del Rio, Jericho, Punk, and Cena Ryback.
I want to also talk about Caitlyn and AJ.
So we'll talk about that now.
Okay.
This feud has been very interesting. I mean,
it's a feud that's been going on for a long time, really.
Yeah, maybe you could say years. They've been friends, and the whole story that I've understood from watching Monday Night Raw this week is that AJ was falling apart from guy to guy, and she was looking for a friend for help, and Caitlyn wouldn't help her. She sort of gave up on her because she was busy chasing the Divas Championship. And poor AJ got screwed in that way and fell apart, and that's why she developed this whole way of screwing Caitlyn.
AJ is a little bit crazy, you have to admit. She's been keeping a grudge for a long time. a long time has passed between then, and she still wants to get back at Caitlyn.
You know what?
Come on.
If Sheamus had 20% of AJ's mind, he'd be a little more interesting. You know, she planned this. She planned it out. She thought. She thought about it a lot. You know, she planned it. That's what we like seeing as WWE fans. We like seeing things develop over time rather than having someone come out with a guitar or I keep saying guitar, a chair, and just bashing someone's head in out of revenge. It's nice to see that sometimes people think and they're smart rather than just using brute force.
I like the storyline. It was from Raw. That's the one part that I watched.
The question is the secret admirer thing, was that all AJ? I didn't understand that from the end. I know that she had Big E stand in and pretend to be the secret admirer and then tricked her, but was this whole secret admirer thing from the beginning AJ's plan?
Yeah.
So there was never a secret admirer?
No, there was. It was him. It was Big E.
Uh-huh. Because I wasn't clear.
No, but there really was never a secret admirer. They just pretended to have Big E Langston as a secret admirer.
Okay, because I wasn't clear on that. I didn't know if maybe she was stepping in for the secret admirer and then tricking Caitlyn, and there actually is a secret admirer.
What did you think about Caitlyn's reactions? Was she into him? Was she not? It wasn't clear to me.
What, you're talking about a relationship?
No, did she seem to be into Big E? Did she like him?
I really don't think so.
No, she was like, what?
I think she was expecting someone more along the lines of a Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, somebody white.
I don't know if it's that. I just think she was hoping for a guy like Cody Rhodes, because we saw her falling all over him a few months ago.
Well, everybody falls over Cody Rhodes.
Well, it's the love stash, you know.
Yeah. No, that's the real deal. No, that's according to the polls. That's the best looking guy in the WWE, right?
Yeah, but I guess
that's what I believe.
I guess mustaches are a lot more popular than back when Rick Rude was around.
Listen, if I could get a mustache like that, I would definitely do it.
So I definitely think it's time for a title change. Dolph Ziggler's on his way up. Big E Langston, it looks like he might be challenging for a title. And so AJ with a title would make a lot of sense. Sort of like, a McMahon, Helmsley sort of thing, you know what I'm saying? Where the boyfriend, girlfriend both have championships.
Right.
Taking all the power in the WWE. But,
well, you have Ziggler. He mentioned that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, the power couple.
Also, Caitlyn's been champion for a long time. I don't know for how many months now, but it's time for her to lose the title already.
I'll tell you right now.
You don't even have to check the computer. You're just going back to the back of your brain.
No, this is the one championship. I have no clue what's going on. 153 days. Wow.
I like Caitlyn. She's so hot.
Eve was involved in this match. Whew, this is a long time ago.
Where is Eve? She's gone?
She retired. But let's see that.
She'll be missed.
Rankings here. So that would make Caitlyn the fourth longest reigning Divas champion in history.
Wow.
She's closing in on Michelle McCool. By after Monday Night Raw, she'll have been champion longer than Michelle McCool if she keeps the championship.
She deserves it. She's good. She's good in the ring. She's very attractive. She's big.
While I want AJ to win the championship, and I think
she is,
90% of the WWE fans out there want AJ to win the championship. The fact of the matter, the men out there, the men WWE fans want AJ to win the championship. I think that Caitlyn would just dissolve. You know, she got knocked down this week on Raw.
She was gonna have a breakdown in the middle of the ring.
I don't know where Caitlyn goes from here. You know, right. If she loses the championship, she's just dead in the water.
Yeah, she's gonna be depressed for a very long time. Then she's gonna have to take a break.
The one thing I would be interested in seeing is her clinging on to someone else. Maybe Cody Rhodes, for example. Having him, I don't know if turn face, but sort of...
that's a very good idea.
Bring her up, cheer her up, make her more confident until she could get revenge against AJ.
And that also puts him in a good storyline also.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what Cody's doing now. He's not on the card, and him and Sandow are not tag teaming together. He might be injured. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with Cody Rhodes.
I think that's an excellent idea.
But yeah, I think it would be an excellent idea if she lost the championship. I think AJ wins the championship. It doesn't make sense otherwise. But I want to talk about a man that's not part of the card, Biggie Langston.
Love the guy.
He's been beating the number. He's had a little mini feud during Dolph Ziggler's hiatus due to injury. He's been having a little mini feud with Alberto Del Rio.
Do I sound like JBL? Love the guy. That guy, JBL, is so boring.
He's literally he's like the old wrestling video games. Every single match, he says the same thing over and over again, pre-recorded.
Yeah. He's finally not even there. It's funny, it is pre-recorded.
He's really lost his touch because I remember back, I think it was in 05 or 06, where he was the SmackDown announcer, and he was pretty good. You know, he was very entertaining.
Okay, I don't agree with you. I like that guy a lot. I just don't think he's good in commentary. Just like Booker T was also never good, but he was also on commentary for a long time.
I think they should bring back someone that was in commentary in the past. Maybe Mick Foley would be a great replacement.
No, keep Zeb Coulter. Zeb Coulter is excellent.
You want Zeb Coulter as an announcer?
He's great.
I'm afraid
he's controversial.
I'm afraid to watch him at a pay-per-view sitting next to the Spanish announcers over there. They'll be sitting there announcing the match, and he'll be like, "English, we're in America. You guys speaking English."
You saw what he said about Cesaro?
He actually likes Cesaro.
Yeah, because he entered legally.
But then what was his big deal? What was his problem with Wade Barrett? Wade Barrett also was in the country week.
That's a good point.
You know, they had a little thing with Wade Barrett a few months ago.
You got a Gamora on me. That's a very good point. You can't argue that.
I don't know. I think maybe he's getting soft, Zeb.
No, I think he is. That's the whole point. With Cesaro making the statement that Cesaro is that he got into the country legally, he's like softening his stance on immigrants.
Which would be interesting if Vicky Guerrero, Vicky Guerrero and Brad Maddox making these crazy matchups, Orton and Bryan versus The Shield. If maybe they stuck Jack Swagger and some sort of Spanish superstar together in a tag team match, how Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter would react to it.
I could see it. Yeah, I could see it happen. I don't want it to go that way. It would bother me so much if they make Zeb Coulter like a face like that, or like all of a sudden he's like hugging Mexicans. It would drive me crazy. So
maybe it shouldn't be a Mexican.
No, I like storyline now. Maybe over time do it like that, but not overnight that Zeb Coulter loves the immigrants.
I don't think Jack Swagger should be in a singles title feud, in my opinion. I think the fact that they're bringing up the Wyatt family proves that they want to push the tag team division. So they'll have the Wyatt family, they'll have the Usos who are on TV this week, the primetime players, the Shield. We'll see what happens with Team Hell No. But it looks like they're really trying to build a tag team division. And I would rather see Jack Swagger be part of a tag team. And a person that I've been not so pleased with his work in the past, and a guy that I've not been a big fan of in the past, that I would like to see him team up with would be Evan Bourne.
He's coming back, right?
He's supposed to be coming back soon, and I would love to see Evan Bourne in a tag team with Jack Swagger.
I love Evan Bourne. I always loved him. Even though he has problems, with, we won't mention with what, but he's exciting in the ring.
Well,
also our first show was with his music.
Yeah, and Jack Swagger and him have some things in common.
Which is what?
They like smoking weed. But besides for that, I could just see, Jack Swagger.
What do you think they're going to do that on their way to the ring?
I could just see Jack Swagger hitting that gut wrench power bomb, and then Airborne hitting Airborne, shooting star press at the end of that match. I love that move. As much criticism as I have given Evan Bourne in the past, when he does that move, I love it. I pause it, make sure I'm ready for it, and I watch it, and then I watch the replay of it. I love the shooting star press.
I'm a bit surprised that Evan Bourne is still around. There's no reason he should be around, really. I mean, how many times did he get in trouble? Once, twice?
I have no idea.
I don't know. There's something about him that...
I don't think there's a record book that keeps track online of how many times.
I don't know why he's around. I mean, I like him a lot, and he's very exciting, but I don't think he's that good that they would keep him around after getting high.
I don't know. I think he got a lot more built up now, so it should be interesting to see what type of a moveset he's going to bring to the table. I don't know if you saw it. I think he tweeted a picture earlier in the week that he's getting a lot more bulked up. But hopefully he'll still be able to hit the shooting star press.
Yeah, just don't get high, man. It's not worth it.
Just say no.
No, I'm kidding. Like, drugs and alcohol really like mess up people's lives.
This is a public service announcement.
I wish I was joking. I'm not even joking, man.
Just like CM Punk said in his feud with Jeff Hardy, just say no.
Yeah, it's straight edge. That's what you got to be.
Unless it's, Shabbos afternoon, you take a shot, you just cut it off at kiddish like that. One shot, yeah.
That's it. Yeah, even then, just have a little shot and that's it.
So we got 3 more matches here to talk about. No, 4 matches here.
Wow.
So let's get into the Intercontinental title picture. We've had The Miz and Wade Barrett feuding for a while now, back and forth. But then again, The Miz is not on television as often. So I don't know what's up there. Somehow Curtis Axel snuck in there. It must have something to do with him being 8-0.
This is probably the most predictable match on the whole roster.
I think Curtis Axel is going to win the Intercontinental Championship. I think if Fandango was in the match, he would have won it. But now that Curtis Axel's in the match, I think Curtis Axel will win it. Just because he's 8-0. He's beaten Triple H twice. I think he's beaten John Cena twice. Sin Cara he's beaten. So, I mean, that together, I think they said Triple H and John Cena as a combined 26 world championships.
And they're going to wrestle again next week, Curtis Axel versus Triple H.
Yeah, we'll see.
So that's going to be hard to keep the streak going.
We'll see if they actually wrestle together. That should be interesting.
My opinion on Curtis Axel is that they're actually rewarding him. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. There was the period when he wasn't wrestling and he was training with The Rock, right? Was it him that was training with The Rock?
Yeah, he helped The Rock prepare for his WrestleMania
I think
match.
Not only The Rock, he was also training with other wrestlers. So this is his reward for doing all this work behind the scenes.
Well, he
deserves it.
He's always been good in the ring.
Yeah.
The way he delivers his neck breaker now is just sick. I don't understand how he manages to make it look so unbelievable. And he's always been good in the ring. The problem was his mic work, He always had trouble with his mic work. And this new thing that he's doing is very funny where he's basically, before every match, he comes out and he tells the opponent he's facing that he's going to teach him how to be perfect. And it's a nice play on. If you have a father that's in wrestling, it's definitely worth it to use him to your advantage, in my opinion.
Right.
I think I like seeing these second-generation wrestlers because, one, they could bring in their parents at some point if they want, and they can use their past phrases and catchphrases without it seeming too tacky,
It's also helping him that he's with Heyman. If you pair up with Heyman, you're basically guaranteed success. You can't mess that up.
Yeah, even if he were to leave WWE, he could probably get a great job anywhere just based on the fact that he's with Paul Heyman.
We can go back and we could go over the people that have been under Heyman, and I don't think anybody's failed. Like, who do you have? Who do you have under Heyman?
Well, you had Brock Lesnar. You have...
And Brock Lesnar was not good on the mic, so Heyman needed to work with him.
You have CM Punk. You have The Big Show. You have Chris Jericho was found by Heyman. Stone Cold Steve Austin, another guy. The list goes on. Rob Van Dam. I mean, the list is endless.
Right. So for some of them, you don't really need Paul Heyman.
No, because they probably grew up a lot faster than they needed with Paul Heyman, but he definitely played a part in getting them into the business and making them big.
Right.
And Paul Heyman is just, he makes superstars, and I can't think of another manager in the WWE that has produced so many great superstars.
I love when Vince McMahon tells Paul Heyman if he should say something in Yiddish.
I felt very odd when I heard
Yeah,
that.
he said it a few times already.
Yeah.
Like Yiddish is like, I don't even think Paul Heyman speaks Yiddish.
Well, I think
He's Jewish, but he doesn't speak
his
Yiddish.
parents, one of his parents, I think, is a Holocaust
Oh, yeah?
survivor. Actually,
So maybe he doesn't.
he wrote an article, I think, a few years ago about the connection between Jews and wrestling. I think he was writing an article about what's his name? Give me a second. I'll tell you the name. Someone Watts from WCW. He was talking about how he's like an anti-Semite.
Yeah.
Oh, Bill Watts. Or Eric Watts? It doesn't matter. But he wrote an article about Judaism and wrestling and some sort of mixture in there.
I know Vince McMahon is not anti-Semite. He doesn't care about anything. As long as you make him money, he'll love you. It doesn't matter if you're Jewish or Arab or, white, Mexican. As long as you make Vince McMahon money, he'll love you.
So maybe we should make him the supreme ruler of the world.
Who, Vince?
Maybe he could bring peace to all the regions of the world.
Maybe.
I don't know. There's no like we always say in our in the wrestling groups. There's no religion when it comes to wrestling.
Yeah, is that what they say in the groups?
Yeah, religion's not important. What's important is that we have a love for wrestling, and that's above everything else.
That's true. I agree. When I'm watching wrestling, I'm not thinking about religion. I'm not thinking I hate this guy because he's this religion or he's this guy because he's this other religion. I'm just too busy with wrestling.
Yeah.
You think when I was watching the AJ, Big E, Caitlyn storyline, I was thinking about that? No. I was loving everybody, especially Caitlyn.
Oh, okay, so I guess you're on the Matt Striker sort of things. But I think you're in the 1% of Caitlyn fans amongst the 99% of AJ fans.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But we have...
That's just weird because Caitlyn is a lot more feminine than AJ.
Yeah, but AJ's crazy. Guys dick crazy chicks.
Is that true? I don't know. Not for me.
So we got 3 more matches here. You want to get it? Which match do you want to get into? We got Del Rio Ziggler, Ryback Cena, and Punk Jericho.
We'll do the Dolph Ziggler, Alberto Del Rio.
So this is a match of a guy that's been out. So I'm afraid to see Dolph Ziggler maybe being a little rusty. But the fact is that he is the best in the ring. No one's better than him. Any pay-per-view that he's on, he puts on the best show out of anyone.
This may be, in my opinion, the most exciting match on the roster, wrestling-wise. This one here.
Well, that's why I'm disappointed because when we have a world championship match of this caliber, and then you add in a 3 stages of hell match, and you add in CM Punk versus Chris Jericho, this match is not going to be the final match of the show.
No, for sure not. It's probably going to be the third to last.
But it could be, It's such, as far as wrestling goes, it could be the greatest match on the show. I watched in the last pay-per-view at Extreme Rules, and to be honest, my favorite matches had nothing to do with stipulations. And the stipulations were the main events of the show. We had Cody Rhodes Miz was one of my favorite matches. Dean Ambrose, I could watch him wrestle for forever. That was a great match. Jericho versus Fandango, also very entertaining matches. And I watched Lesnar versus Triple H was a brutal match, but I wasn't so excited for it, also because of the involvement of Paul Heyman. The fact that John Cena Ryback ended in a draw was totally ridiculous. How do you have a match like... Ryback has been fighting over and over again to win the championship, and he keeps getting screwed time after time after time. And I was very pissed off after that match ended. And
well, that's probably going to stop at this pay-per-view. He's going to stop getting screwed. He got screwed enough already.
So, I mean, I'm hoping that this match gets the time it deserves. Dolph Ziggler versus Alberto Del Rio, I hope it gets around 20 minutes. Enough with all these side things and segments and I hope they don't throw in some Brodus Clay crap in this pay-per-view. Give me a 20-minute... Give me John Cena versus Ryback, 30 minutes. Jericho Punk, 20 minutes. Ziggler Del Rio, 20 minutes. And I'll be satisfied if you give the rest of the card between 5 to 10-minute matches.
The pay-per-view is 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
And you have 7 matches.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. So that's over... That's like 30 minutes per match.
Yeah, if they don't throw in crap.
Let's say 25 minutes per match.
You have to also remember that they're going to have that video preview of every match as well.
Right, so okay, so that takes away a few minutes. So let's say 20 minutes per match we're looking at.
If we're lucky. They'll probably stuff in some crappy tag team match. I don't like saying that, crappy tag team match, because you want there to be more tag team wrestling in order to push the WWE to make the tag team wrestling more relevant. It's a lot harder for us to care about a match when it's not for the titles. And when they put a team like I totally forgot about Tons of Funk. They're also a tag team that's in contention in the division. But I mean, you got a lot of tag teams, so I mean, I could go for a Tons of Funk match. It's not a Tons of Funk match where they win by ways of John Cena's spirit, where the match is even, and then they just take it away with the final 5 moves of the match.
There's no reason that each match in itself can go 20 minutes. John Cena versus Ryback with the stipulations for sure can go 20. That's going to actually go probably way longer than 20 minutes, right?
I would say 38 minutes.
Lumberjack match, tables match, and ambulance match.
I would say 38 minutes.
38?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I would say 30, 40 minutes. Jericho versus CM Punk, that should go 15, 20 minutes. Wade Barrett versus Curtis Axel versus The Miz, also 20 minutes. The Tag Team Championship will probably be the shorter of the matches. That would go maybe 10, 15 minutes. And Dean Ambrose versus Kane also is going to be a shorter match. Let's say 10 minutes. Caitlyn versus AJ Lee, maybe 10 minutes. Wow, so I'm seeing like Dolph Ziggler versus ADL, that's going to be also a longer match. So I'm seeing that they're going to have to add matches.
I hope that they give us what we want, and that is those 3 big matches consisting of a combined hour and a half altogether, more or less.
John Cena versus Ryback, Jericho versus CM Punk,
and Del Rio versus Ziggler.
Right.
I think in the end, Ziggler comes out of this one. You don't have the guy win Money in the Bank and win the championship just to take it away from him after a few months. I could see Ziggler carrying the title way past SummerSlam, not maybe losing it till Hell in a Cell.
I don't even care who wins this match. It's just going to be a great match to watch.
Definitely, man. So we have 2 more matches here. Let's go with Ryback versus John Cena. And this is actually the first 3 stages of Hell match that doesn't include Triple H. Triple H has been in the last 3 of them. And we see here that the list of all the 3 stages of Hell matches that have been. And this is the first time I think that a lumberjack match has actually been part of it. We see the last 3 we had the Triple H versus Austin was a regular match, street fight, steel cage. The second one was HBK versus Triple H, street fight, steel cage, and ladder match. And the last one before this was in 2009, Orton versus Triple H was a singles match, falls count anywhere, and stretcher match. So it seems like the last match has to be a definite match. Steel cage, ladder, stretcher, and at this pay-per-view we have an ambulance match.
They pick stupid stipulations. The lumberjack match, has it ever made an impact on any match? I mean, that's one of the older stipulations, right? Lumberjack matches have gone already back to 80s and maybe even 70s. I don't know. But what is it going to do for the match? And then the tables match, that's not... I like the old stipulations. If you go to the old matches, you have something more exciting like false count anywhere. I'd rather watch that.
Well, I would be in favor...
or a ladder match.
I would be in favor of having submission match. It would be very entertaining to see Ryback pull out some submission out of nowhere. He'd been hiding it up till now, and then out of nowhere he pulls out a submission move in order to win the submission match. I think that would be very cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, he can definitely do it. But I don't see John Cena submitting.
All right, it depends how good the submission is.
Have you ever seen John Cena submit? I don't think so.
I think once.
Yeah.
I think once he submitted to Kurt Angle, I saw him submit.
Yeah, I can't see, even with Ryback, he's not going to submit to anybody. He won't put anybody over in that way.
It's interesting what kind of matches they could use to make these, but it seems like with putting an ambulance match at the end, it's a definite winner, you know? It's not, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not like you have a match that could be thwarted or like something that could be messed up, like a ladder match, someone interferes and messes up. An ambulance match seems a lot more ending. The guy has to put the other guy in an ambulance, and the ambulance has to drive away.
I'm assuming the ambulance match is the last stipulation, correct?
Yes. And you better bet your ass that they're going to use all three stipulations, because I don't think I've ever seen one of these multiple stipulation matches end after the first two falls.
Either way, the more we talk about it, the more exciting. I like it. I'm liking it more and more.
I can't wait to watch it. It's definitely going to be an exciting pay-per-view. And
you know what? It is a very good pay-per-view. Actually, I'm very impressed now that we're talking about it. I'm like, wow, it's a very good pay-per-view.
We see here the first one in 01 went 39 minutes, in 02 went 38, in 09 21. So we definitely will get 20 plus minutes on this match. And the fact that there's a lumberjack match means there's going to have to be a fall, you know? A lumberjack match means there has to be an end to that first match. So we could definitely see it going a good 30-something minutes. And then and in my opinion, John Cena will win this match again, unfortunately.
No, I disagree with you on this one. Ryback's going to win finally. His time is now.
Okay, Ryback rules. But I really want to see Ryback win this, but unfortunately, I think John Cena will win. And the only reason I don't want to see John Cena lose is because I don't want to see him win the title back within 2-3 months.
So let's quickly go over who we think is going to win. And then before we go over the Chris Jericho versus CM Punk. So I'm thinking Ryback's going to win his match. Yeah. Curtis Axel. The Shield. Dean Ambrose. Caitlyn. And Dolph Ziggler.
I'm going to have to agree with you on all accounts. Ryback, Punk. Oh, you said Jericho. I think I'm going to go Ryback, Punk, Curtis Axel, Shield, Ambrose, Ziggler, and disagree with you that I think AJ will win the championship.
No, I didn't give my winner for Chris Jericho versus CM Punk. I was leaving that since we haven't spoken about it yet.
Oh, my bad. Oh, yes, and I think they might give Sandow the win this time.
I don't care about that.
Fine. So with the final match, we got Chris Jericho versus CM Punk, and I am really looking forward to this match more than
me too.
Any other match on the pay-per-view. And it's similar to how at WrestleMania, I was looking forward to CM Punk versus The Undertaker more than any other match on the pay-per-view. Because
Are you looking forward to this match because of CM Punk or because of Chris Jericho?
More because of CM Punk, because we haven't seen him in a couple months. And I just love watching CM Punk in the ring. Chris Jericho, we've seen the last few weeks. We know his moves. We know what's going on. We don't know what kind of mindset CM Punk is going to be in. When he came back from his hiatus after leaving Money in the Bank, whatever it was with the championship last year, I believe it was so exciting when he came back. And now after a couple months after WrestleMania, we finally get him to come back. And we don't even know what he's going to look like. You know, we don't know if he's going to come back with short hair, long hair, with a mask, without a mask. We don't know what the heck he's going to come back. Or he could be coming back looking like Mick Foley, JR. It's going to be very exciting. Right. He's going because hopefully we won't see him until the match starts. Sometimes they show them showing up to the arena before the match in their limousines. I don't want to see any CM Punk until the match starts.
I heard there's a rumor that he's going to have new theme music. You heard that?
I heard it was dismissed.
Oh, yeah?
I heard it was.
They need to put his old music back. It's enough already with his cult of personality.
Maybe if he turns face, they'll change the music.
They'll change it back at some point.
You know what they should put on? You know the music that you hear when ice cream trucks come down the street?
Yeah.
You should come down to that music and hand out ice cream bars to everybody. You'd be like, I took 2 months off. I had a rough time, but I finally came out with a great idea. I finally got you guys ice cream bars. And then he just starts handing out ice cream bars.
That would go great in Chicago.
I think
because like the people love him, and then especially if he's giving out ice cream, the people would be all over him.
Chicago will be crazy for CM Punk. Jericho, I could see getting booed like crazy. Remember back with Punk versus Cena at Money in the Bank?
Yeah,
that was the greatest thing I have ever heard in my entire life. Hearing CM Punk come out, tons of cheers. You couldn't hear yourself think. And then Cena coming out and getting the biggest boo reaction that I've heard, I think, since Hulk Hogan joined the NWO and turned his back on WCW. I haven't heard bigger boos than that.
It would be great to go back to Chicago just for the pay-per-view. As you know, I'm from Chicago. You know that.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best crowds in America.
It's definitely.
I thought they were actually the best, but we had the pay-per-view recently. What was it? WrestleMania
in the Meadowlands.
Yeah, maybe that was better than Chicago.
That Izod Center crowd was unbelievable.
Yeah. Occasionally, you have crowds like that one.
In Canada, there was a crowd also. That was also.
Yeah, and you know what? The crowd makes the events on television.
There were 3 crowds this year that were very entertaining. Canada, England, and the Meadowlands. And I think the Meadowlands crowd was like that because there were so many foreign people part of the crowd.
Right. It was the European mentality.
So it was those were very good crowds. But this is going to be a very partisan, very CM Punk crowd.
They made Fandango that crowd.
Yes,
he
did.
got it. Fandango got a huge break. He should not be where he is right now. That was his break.
I give Johnny Curtis his props. He is pretty good in the ring. You know, he's good in the ring.
He's good.
Like Michael McGillicuddy.
He also is great on the mic also.
Like his creepy voice, it works very well with his character. But him and McGillicuddy, they worked very hard to get to where they are. So I can't really take... Fandango is definitely further along than he should have been, but he deserves it. He worked his ass off along with McGillicuddy, and that's why him and Curtis Axel have been interchangeable in this Intercontinental Championship match.
I want to say something a little bit controversial. I know some people may not like it, but I always thought Johnny Curtis was just a little bit feminine. I'm not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And this was perfect. The Fandango character was perfect for him. You didn't notice it? Like Johnny Curtis?
I always thought he was very creepy, like a guy that lived in the back of a van and always invited people to his van. I always thought he was very weird.
And how old were these people?
I'm not at liberty to discuss these matters. I will not slander Fandango on the air. But, yeah, he had this very interesting quality. You say feminine. I'll agree. I think I agree with you to some extent.
No, I'm not trying to make fun of him. Just a little bit.
You know what?